Well, welcome to the show. I'm so excited for our guest today, Melanie Herschorn. She is not only one of my girls, she's one of our chapter directors with Business Bubbly, but she also helps people, let me just say this, like go from the middle of the pack to taking the lead by becoming a published author. Her company and publishing company is called Big Impact Books. And this woman, she has a heart of gold. And I'm just so excited for our conversation today. So, welcome.
Thank you. That was the nicest intro. I appreciate that.
Oh, I love it. So, I would love for our listeners to, okay, first and foremost, we're going to get to know you for sure. But I love the topic of what it is that we're going to talk about today because I really feel like it gives people an unfair advantage when it comes to their business. So I just want you to like share your story of what becoming an author did for you. I'm going to share my story because this is like the differentiator. Like it wasn't another funnel, it wasn't another freebie offer, opt-in email sequence, it wasn't another social media post. It was literally doing things like what it is that you help entrepreneurs do. It was what the game changer for me. And so I just want to like get this out on the table right from the get-go when it comes to standing out in business and showing up as the expert through book publishing. So take it away, girl.
Having a book is like the most ancient symbol of authority that there is, and it's never going to go away.
Well, even the word author, authority.
Exactly. And when you get concerned about AI, oh, well, you can write a book with AI. No, you can't. You can put a whole bunch of words in a document with AI. But the magic comes from within you.
Yeah.
And when you get that on the page, that is the differentiator. So, how has it changed my life, my business, my career trajectory? In so many ways. First of all, confidence. The confidence factor is there. Now, I will say that I did get a bad review from this lady about a year and a half ago, and I cried in my car for about 10 minutes. Then I pulled it together and I realized that I had triggered her with my book. And you can't please everybody. But that's okay because after I brushed myself off and dusted off the ick, I got right back into it. And now I'm proud again because my words have helped people. Case in point, last week, a woman shows up on my calendar. We meet on Zoom and she says, "My friend sent me a copy of your book." She was ready to hire me before even meeting with me. That's the difference. And when I pitch myself to, a speaking event or a podcast, I get put up above the others because I have the book. It shows that I'm the expert on making a big impact with your book.
Yeah. Oh, I love that so much. And I love this conversation because I remember when I started to really understand the value of becoming an author and not just saying I'm a speaker, but also having the social proof of it, right? It's not just on my website. Like, no, there's actually a lot of pictures and videos and events that I've spoken at, all this different stuff. And it literally was, I remember years and years ago, it was over 10 years ago, that I'm like, okay, I figured out it wasn't another funnel. It wasn't a whatever six-figure launch. It literally what changed the game for me was becoming a speaker and becoming an author. Hands down.
And your book is wonderful.
Oh, thank
Well,
you.
the first book, I should say, because there are many others since, and they're all great. And you have even more coming out soon to be determined.
That's true. That's very true. Just, just put that out there. But yes, like it is literally one of the best ways to show up as an industry expert. Now, what
Because
would you
you wrote the book on it, right? You're not only an expert, but you wrote the book on it. Like your most recent book. Let's pull that out. It's about networking, right?
Yeah.
But it's so much more than that. And you have, you run this beautiful group of Business and Bubbly that is nationwide. So people know you're an expert in networking. But now you have a book. It just elevates you so much higher.
Yeah, I love that. So if someone's maybe they are listening to this and they're like, okay, well, doesn't writing a book take forever? And how can I even leverage it? And I don't have the email list to become the New York Times bestseller, like all of these typical things that we hear. So for you as a book publishing expert that literally helps people stand out in the industry by becoming an author and writing their book, what would you say to some of those pretty common objections or just thoughts that people are like, oh, I'm not the expert, or I don't have enough to say, or I mean, you hear them all the time, and they're thoughts that I've even had myself, but
Absolutely. Absolutely. We all have them. So first of all, they're stories that we tell ourselves. And if we keep telling ourselves that story, we're going to believe it, right? So let's do some myth busting right now. Number one, should everybody write a book? No, no. If you don't have enough experience in something, or maybe you're thinking that you're not totally sure you want to stay on this trajectory and you want to maybe do something else, you don't want to write a book about something that you may never want to talk about again, right? A book is something that lasts forever. So be, you know, judicious about what you decide to write a book about. However, when you are sure that you are going to be doing this for the long haul, when you know that it's inside you, it's in your bones, that you have to get this information out into the world, then you should be writing a book. Is there enough time in the world for anything we want to do? Yes. We just have to make time for it. I heard this statistic a couple of weeks ago. It really bugged me. We spend, I don't even want to tell you how many hours watching television in a month, mindlessly scrolling Instagram. What if you took that just 1 hour of those 70 in a month and wrote? There's always room for jello and there's always time to write. You just have to be intentional about it. That's one of the things we help with is keeping our authors accountable
yeah.
because it's really hard to be accountable to yourself. Some of us can do it, but you shouldn't have to. Get help. It's okay. So you said, I'm not good enough. I don't know enough. I don't have enough time. What
Yeah.
was another objection?
Well, I want to jump in on even what you said and even just share from my personal experience. So, I actually first started as an author in a collaborative book, which is a really great low barrier to entry. It's not as intimidating as writing a whole book. It tends to be 2,000, 3,000 words. You're doing it with a bunch of other great authors or soon to be authors. It's a great networking opportunity, right? So, there's lots of fun things as far as a collaborative book. But when I dove into my first solo book, and there definitely is a difference between like an expertise book, like with the book that I just did for networking. So for those of you guys that didn't hear my last couple episodes about the book, it's called Networking Mastery: The Guide to Building Connection Capital for Major Impact, Influence, and Income in Business and in Life. So grab a copy. It's on Amazon. Shameless plug. But my first book, Meant for More, that was more of a kind of a guts of me, if you will, like a lot more of my story and then intermixed with some of the lessons that I learned along the way that will help other people. So I think that there is a difference, but still the word author puts you way up there on the expertise scale. But I remember when I was writing my first book, my book Meant for More, I actually was writing, quote unquote, I was writing it for years. I was like, oh yeah, I'm writing a book. And I think I said that for like probably 2 or 3 years, honestly. And what my
Guilty.
quote, yeah, I know, totally. Like what this quote unquote writing a book, it sounded so fancy, but here's the reality of it is I would sit down on my computer and I would peck out like a story, or a half story or something, a few sentences, I would save it in a Google folder on a Google Doc, and I would just sit there and I'm writing a book. And then I remember I had an opportunity to actually meet some really, really high up people. I was going over to South Africa, some dignitaries, like country leaders, and we had in the opportunity I had, it was to bring a gift for them, and I knew that I wanted to be an author, like introduce myself as an author and be able to give a copy of my book, which I was able to give. They were able to put it in some of the I actually brought multiple copies. They were able to put it into libraries in underserved communities. And so it was like an intentional give back that I wanted to do as well. And it made on the news over there and all this really great stuff. And so I also, okay. And I literally, you guys, once I had that deadline and that opportunity, I got it done in 2 weeks.
It's crazy, right? I wrote a book over Christmas break.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm about to get it edited. Yeah,
Oh, excited. I can't wait to read it.
yeah, that's how it goes. But of course, second book is easier to write than the first book.
Sure.
I mean, you know this. You set out to write one book and ended up with another before the second one was coming out.
It's true, you guys. I wrote a book in like a week. I wrote Networking Mastery in like a week.
Because it's part of you.
Yeah.
It's the things you talk about all the time. It's what you practice what you preach, you walk the walk, you talk the talk. That's why.
Yeah. No, I love it. Like you'll probably hear multiple things that I've said on this podcast. You will just read it in words, but it breaks down a lot of the things about networking. So yes, it's like, oh, when it's in you, when you're talking about it, when you love it, when it's coming out of your mouth, you're building a business on it, it just, oh, okay, put it on paper. So for you, so Melanie, so you obviously you're the expert here. So what does it look like to take someone through that process? But what I know for me, even more so than the book, was actually what I discovered about myself
Mm.
and who I became in the process of owning that title of expert. And this is what I'm doing with it. And how can I leverage it? And so I don't know, just I would love to hear some of your thoughts on that.
You become an expert in your own mind because you realize you look through the pages and you see your own brilliance and you go, wait a minute, I said that. Wait a minute, I wrote this. It is such I mean, the feeling that you get when you order your first box of books and you open it up and you pick it up and you hold it and you see your name emblazoned on the front. And then you open it up and you see your words in print. You can smell it. The smell of a new book smells so good. And it changes who you are in your business because you show up more confidently.
Yeah.
And in terms of leveraging, there are so many things you can do to leverage this tangible tool for authority, expertise, and profit. So we talked, well, you actually talked about it. I didn't say anything yet about the idea of collaborative books. Collaborative books are nothing to sneeze at. They are a great tool as well. In fact, I've just packed up a bunch to bring to a retreat that I will be attending on the weekend. Because a collaborative book is such a great way to grow your network. You then become a published author, and it's like dipping your toe in without having to jump in the freezing cold lake with a bikini on.
It's the gateway drug.
Gateway. It's going into a hot tub as opposed to a 52-degree lake. So when you think about the way to leverage it, so leveraging a group book versus a personal book, it's not all that different. When you're part of a collaborative book, you get to be part of other people's communities. You get to share each other's greatness. You get to be together and you get to grow your network exponentially, because if everybody participates in the growth piece, then everybody wins. That's why I'm such a big fan of those. But they don't take away or negate the need and desire to do your very own book,
Yeah.
because that's a more personal piece. So for example, when I've contributed to collaborative books, or when I produced a collaborative book, it is for women entrepreneurs. I don't particularly work with women entrepreneurs. I just like to give back because I've been a woman entrepreneur for 13 years and I know what I didn't know and I just want to help. So there can be different reasons for doing what you do. But when you do a solo book, I have to underscore this again. Make sure that it's going to be about something that you want to keep talking about for a really long time. And then once you've decided on the topic, and once you've written it and you've published it and you're holding it in your hands, it is time to use this to stand on stages. Stages open up to authors. To pitch yourself to the media. I mean, gosh, you were just featured in yahoo.com. You leverage it to grow your network. So you could literally mail a book to a stranger who you want to work with, and they're going to open up your mail. They may even read your book. I don't think your email's getting to them. These are just some of the things that open up to you, some of the possibilities that are available once you become a published author.
Hey, just a quick little invitation here for you to give one of my new favorite products a try. It's called Glossy. And if you know anything about me, that you know that I love to share things that I love. I love to talk about the things that I love that I'm using, whether it's new products, new services, fun books that I'm sharing about. So I'm always on the hunt for new products that help with high performance, that help me not only as a business owner, as a founder, as a speaker, as a podcaster, and even as a mom feel better, but it's got to be able to fit into my daily routine. And I have found one that is like my new obsession. It's called Glossy. It's a skin and a gut daily ritual supplement. It's a skin routine that you can drink. Not only does it taste amazing, like a light, refreshing lemon spa water that I could drink all day, seriously, but it's making me feel so recharged and like I'm feeding my body and skin everything it needs to keep up with me and my goals. It has a clinically studied probiotic in it that survives the trip to your gut so that you know that it's working, along with hyaluronic acid, which is incredible for glowy, hydrated look to your skin. And on top of that, it's loaded with skin-loving ingredients like zinc, magnesium, vitamin C, coconut water powder, minerals, electrolytes, and antioxidants. It's how I love to actually start my day as well as end my day, because when I wake up in the morning, I actually get the feeling that I feel less bloated, which, hello, is amazing. So for real, this is a game changer, especially if you travel, if you're busy, and if you have to have something that help you support your body while you are going after your big ideas. So if you want glowing skin and a happy gut, go grab your subscription, because it's the best results take 30 to 60 days. You can go to getglossy.com. That's GETGLOCI.com, and use my coupon code CharityMajors for an awesome discount. Now, understand that this product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. But again, that's all the official legal stuff, right? Go to getglossy.com and grab your skin and gut supplement, because great skin starts from within. That's at getglossy, GETGLOCI.com, and use my coupon code CharityMajors. Grab your subscription today. You are going to love it. I have no doubt. Go to getglossy.com and use the coupon code CharityMajors. Now back to the show.
Yeah, I love that. So what are some of your favorite ways? Because I think that sometimes, like, when I first started with a book, I didn't actually realize how all the different ways that I could leverage it. And that, oh, sure, there's an investment in time.
Mm-hmm.
And if you hire someone like Melanie, obviously, to make it an incredible book, she is incredible with book marketing because let's be real, the book is like the birthing of a baby, then you gotta like raise the baby. Right?
Yeah. You don't just leave it on the side of the road and hope for the best.
You gotta raise the baby. So and it's part of this leveraging and what that ROI looks like. And so maybe just share some of those things because I think that people don't even really understand. They're like, oh, okay, I just have to like write the book. And then it's this book that's out there.
Yeah, no, it doesn't quite work like that. I liken it to getting a Bugatti, putting it in your driveway, and then never filling it with gas.
Yeah.
So unless somebody happens to show up at your house, they will never see this Bugatti because you ain't driving it around. There's no gas in it. So what you want to do is start building your marketing way before you ever even publish the book. And that can be through some of the channels that we all use every single day, social media, email, word of mouth, going to networking events. Just mention it. I have a forthcoming book. And then getting people excited about your book, that really helps because that gets you excited about it too. We also love to do an Amazon bestseller campaign because even though that is not a marketing plan in and of itself, it feels so much better to be able to say, I am a best-selling author. It just elevates you even further. And when you are telling people about your book, you can't stop talking about it. I mean, I published my book in November of 2023. It's not 2023 anymore while you're listening to this podcast. And I'm still talking about it. And I will continue to talk about it because it is part of my marketing. And that's what a book really is. A book is like the greatest marketing tool you can ever have.
I love it. So what are some of your favorite ways of using a book for marketing?
Oh, okay. Well, you can mail it out, as I mentioned, to ideal clients. I know of a woman who published 12 copies. That's it. She ever only printed 12 copies of her book, and she made hundreds of thousands of dollars because she sent the book to the right potential client.
Yeah.
You can use your book as a way to get yourself on podcasts. I have been on, I was actually, it's funny. Last night I was going through all the podcasts I did in 2023. I think it was about 10. And then in 2024, I did about 40. And my pitch had changed so drastically, author of the new book. And all of a sudden, I was getting people reaching out to me that I'd never even met before or heard of. Oh, I see you have a book. I'd love to talk to you. I had a client who, once we really got his LinkedIn messaging on point, he started getting DMs from contacts inviting him to speaking events. One of whom said, okay, I'm going to pay you to come and speak, and we're going to buy 300 books.
Yeah.
Those are some of the ways that you can really leverage it.
I love it. It's so fun. And I know we actually just had a consult regarding my networking mastery book as well as my next book that will be coming out, but just really understanding the power of what it looks like to use a book for marketing, but also for like this lead gen for income. So you can create fun offshoots of programs and licensing and use them in corporate or colleges or for entrepreneurs or for moms or whatever that looks like. And you can build like entire programming and brands and tiered offers and all this really fun stuff around it. So it's like, okay, yes, I'm going to invest some time and some energy, some effort, some income into this thing, that the return on investment is massive.
It's massive. And what if you wanted to start a podcast and your podcast was based on your book?
That's what my first one was, meant for more. Yes. And then I love this because then there's a ton of different ways to repurpose.
Yes, you never have to think of what to post on social media. It's already written down.
Right? It's amazing.
So you've done all the heavy lifting at the beginning, and it really makes a difference because you're coming at it from a different angle because you know you're different from everybody else. You've already figured out what your differentiating factor is. Because it's like you talked about at the beginning of the hour. You know, when somebody is coming in and everybody's in the middle, right? We're all kind of the same. We're kind of seeing what other people are doing on Instagram. We're kind of doing the same thing. I mean, when, for example, I've just been seeing carousels that are starting to all look the same. And the new thing on carousels is it's the same photo over and over again, but with different words.
Yeah.
That's the new trend. But whenever it becomes a trend, people catch on and then it stops being a trend and you start getting desensitized.
Yeah.
The book prevents that kind of thing from happening because you are already setting yourself apart from the crowd.
Yeah. Which is why I published Networking Mastery. Because there's a bunch of other really amazing women that are creating communities and networking events. And it was a strategic publishing move for me to be able to move from the middle of the pack to taking the lead.
Exactly. And I loved how you said strategic publishing.
Yes.
That is really what, and if it's okay, I'm going to take that because that's really what I am going to use it. I can quote you, but that's really what I specialize in is strategic publishing. It's not publishing a book for the sake of doing it.
Right.
You can do that on AI. That's not the point here. The point is to look at what is your end goal and reverse engineer. What do you want this book to do for you? You know, before you even sit down to write, what's your goal? So I'm going to use you as a case study. What was your goal? Your goal is to speak on more stages, to talk to, you know, corporations and to colleges and to let them know that you are the bona fide expert on networking and leveraging your network to grow your worth, your net worth. So that's what you did. You wrote the book knowing why you're writing it. Often people come to me and they say, you know, I wrote a book like 10 years ago and I don't really do that anymore, but do you think I can still market it? And I say, well, do you want to market it? And they're like, no. I'm like, then I think you know the answer.
Yeah.
And it's just one of those time, you know, we talked about time. Is it worth your time? So that's an important piece to remember always. Is it worth your time?
Oh, so good. Well, what would you say as we wrap this up in the next few minutes? Like for those that maybe they know that they have a book in them. And this
Mm.
is the thing, like for me, and even going back to what you said in the beginning of is everyone supposed to write a book? No. But if you're like, oh, you have that internal, you're like, oh, okay, I know I'm supposed to write a book.
And if you know, you know. Don't eat like there is no doubt. Like I knew from the time I was 9 that I was going to write a book.
Yeah,
It took me till age 44, but I did it. And you can too.
for sure. Or maybe you don't know that you are meant to write a book, but you're like, oh, I actually see the opportunity of strategically publishing because I'm smart like that.
Hmm. And perhaps the whole book isn't what you need, but you see the benefits and strategy to being part of a collaborative book.
Yeah.
Because the exponential marketing piece of that can really benefit your business when you're teaming up with collaborators who don't do what you do, but work with the same types of clients.
Yeah. So good. So good. Well, I know people as they're listening to this, like if you're listening to this and your heart is like, okay, Melanie, okay, Charity, I know I'm supposed to write a book, or you see the opportunity of what it looks like to leverage a book to strategically publish it and stand out from the market, to show up as that next level expert. You want to get on more stages and you're tired of trying to do a six-figure launch or trying to create another funnel or another freebie or all the things, how can people find you, follow you, get a hold of you? What are some things that you have going on? I know you and I are collaborating on some fun things.
Yes. So I wanted to lead with that, if that's okay, because I think that that's the biggest, easiest, most wonderful opportunity. We have an incredible collaboration, and we are working on a book, a collaborative book for women who are changing the world. And it's not like you have to be the one who's standing on the stage at the UN. No, 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 no. Whatever you're doing in your world is changing the world. So if you'd like to share the title of or the working title, I'll say, of the book and who the right author is.
Yeah, so the working title of this one is called Rise: How to Find Your People, Power, and Purpose in Your Journey Towards Success.
And success can be whatever feels right for you. Success doesn't have to, it might be $1 million for one person, and it might be working 1 hour a week for another, or having the perfectly happy, calm family life that they didn't get growing up, but they have it now. So whatever you view as success, it would be so wonderful to see you become a published author.
Yes, I love that. So if you're interested in this, we still have spots open. You can go to businessandbubbly.com/expand. This is our Expand Her platform, and it literally is all about leveraging becoming an author, or there's an option of becoming a speaker, which I take you through my major impact messenger framework to becoming an impactful messenger and speaker. And you can do one or the other or both, but Melanie and I have come together and collaborated on this, and it has been so fun to see the women that are currently in it have these incredible aha moments, have these incredible like one gal, she was like, I actually didn't realize how healing this would be to process through some parts of her story of what she's putting in the book.
I thank you for sharing that. And I've had that exact same experience myself, where I was writing a chapter about thought leadership. And by the time I got to the end of writing it, I went, I guess I could be a thought leader too. And it was like a full circle moment for me. So it's amazing. And that was a 2,000 word chapter. I mean, it doesn't have to be a 500-page tome to make a big difference in your life and to make a big impact.
So good. Well, what do you want to send people off as we're wrapping up this episode?
Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, if you are curious to chat with me, I would love to meet with you. And you could just go to meetmelanie.vip and you'll get on my calendar. So that's super easy. And the thing I would love to leave you with is, if you have something to share, then I think that it's time that you share it, because you are not doing yourself or anyone else a favor by holding it back. We, both of us, Charity and I'm going to speak for Charity too. Our goal is to give voice to the voiceless, to help you amplify what's inside you and share it with the world. So we're cheering you on.
Yes. Oh, I couldn't agree more. I couldn't agree more. Even one of my favorite sayings that we say is, I actually don't believe you need to find your voice. You already have a voice. You just need to be empowered to use it. And a book is one of the ways to be able to do that on paper, and to help you leverage stages, podcast interviews, to get your voice out, to get your story out. It's what will separate you. I can't, I know I keep emphasizing that, but I don't know how else to say it besides it will literally be the thing that thrusts you forward from everyone else in your industry doing very similar things. And who you become in the process is actually the greatest reward, which is really, really fun too. So, well, Melanie, thank you so much for being here, for sharing. You guys, her Instagram is Big Impact Books. And she is incredible. She's not only incredible and smart, like she's very, very smart when it comes to book marketing. But she's an incredible support system, wealth of knowledge, and more so, she just carries such integrity with who she is. So get to know her. Even if you aren't ready to publish a book yet, like find her, follow her, get to know her. She is worth getting to know. She is a gem of a human being. And I'm just so grateful for you that we're friends, that we're collaborating. Like this is like you guys, they're like, I don't know. There's collaboration already happening. There's support systems. Like women are collaborating, and it's so beautiful. The culture of catty, whatever, that's so 1990. Like it's not there. Like women are collaborating. We're supporting each other. We're doing business. We're doing life. We're doing friendship really, really well together. And Melanie's one of those. So get to know her. She's amazing.
Thank you. Right back at you.
All right, you guys, thanks for tuning in. Cheers to your success, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you so much for listening to the show. I hope it brought some value and some fun into your business and life. Remember to rate, review, and subscribe to the podcast, and even share the episode with a fellow business bestie who you know will love it. It helps us continue to attract top-level guests and reach more and more women who are on their journey in business just like you. Remember that when money gets in the hands of good women, great things happen. Cheers to your success.